What's up, Anthony? What's going on, Matt? Doing Super Chat Sunday and having some ice cream while I'm talking to you. Sugar-free ice cream. Jennifer Molesky, keep it up. I'm going to send you a link. You're going to have to go live with me. Hold on. Hold on. Tremont. Let me see if I can add something to the comments here. I'm wondering if there's a way that I can add to the comments. Private chat. Gabriel, Philly, Terry Dedrick, good to see you. Rutger Hill, Mike B1, Robert Brennan, Carolina Hermes, good to see you. I want to be able to put up the, I'm wondering if I can do that, put up the Quebec, Scotland in the house. No. Lopez, no, that wasn't me. You must be thinking about someone else. John Boston from Boston is here. Tanisha, good to see you. Ontario, Canada, fantastic. I got to figure out a way to put, I'm trying to think how I can put this in the chat. Let me see. I don't think I can. Send this link to your guests. Post comment. All right. So let's see. Quick, put on your makeup. All right. I don't know if that's clickable. I don't know if that's clickable. The link that I just put up, StreamYard link. I don't know. I've never done this before. So, yeah. Casablanca, Morocco in the house. Happy Easter. Peekaboo, good to see you. Definitely. We're just hanging out tonight, kind of an open forum. Talk whatever you want to talk about while I eat my ice cream. All right, so if you click on it, I'm just wondering how, What I don't want to do is end the stream. Let's see. I'm having a butter pecan, sugar-free tonight. Sugar-free. Am I still doing carnivore? No, I'm doing keto and I'm doing intermittent fasting. Oh, I love goat. I love curried goat. There's a restaurant near me that has curried goat. A friend of mine opened up a restaurant. African dude. Matt M says, hi, white chocolate. You must have got that from Steve Williams. Louisville, Kentucky. Macedonia. Cool. Harry Montia. Good to see you. Somebody click on the link. somebody click on the link and let's just see if you can come on. I don't know. I'm just trying to see if I can just post the link and then invite you on. Let me see. Yes. How many can I do? About 25 right now. That's about it. I'm not having a pipe, no. I'm eating ice cream right now. This is sugar-free butter pecan. Had a very tiring day. Now I'm hearing guests. Add to stream. Okay. Gabriel, add to stream. Ian Simmons, add to stream. Wow, far out. I never did this before. You guys are part of a. This is a first for me. Welcome.
The maiden voyage.
Wow, this is great. Terry, how are you? Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Gabriel, nice to see you.
Hey, George, good to see you.
Ian, nice to see you.
Who's allowed in the stream?
Anybody. Anyone. I just Lindy, come on. Lindy,
Yeah.
come on. Come on the chat for a couple minutes. I know you're cooking supper, but just come on. Let me figure this out. All right. Let me see. Oh, this is too funny. I've never done this before. Yes. Okay. So be patient with me as I kind of figure this out. All right, I posted the link. I want you to, Tanisha, come on. Click the link and you come on. Lindy, click the link. Let's come on. Patton, click the link. Come on. This is completely unplanned, but how cool is this? All right, so everybody, you have to tell me what you did today. Terry, you start.
Today I built a new chicken coop.
Okay. Tell us about that.
I took the dog pen that the chickens were in because I adopted some chickens. So now that they seem to
wow.
they're living, I decided to build a pen, proper coop, because now that they're staying.
Yeah.
And so I built six boxes for them to lay their eggs. I've only got 4 chickens, but I figured my 6 now. And so I got that all done, and I put it back into the dog cage, and I built a roof on it, so that way they're all contained.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, I get about 8 eggs a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's significant.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know who's laying all the eggs, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
And they're old
Hey,
chickens.
Jen,
Okay.
click the link and come on.
Hi, William.
Gabriel, how are you? What'd you do today?
I'm good. Actually, I've been reading this book all day, Thinking Orthodoxy. So your interview with Father Peter was actually timely because I'm converting to Orthodox from Roman Catholicism.
Wow.
I delved a bit into Protestantism and all that, and just Eastern Orthodoxy just resonates with me more. So, it's funny because I found you, I guess, a few weeks ago, and you started talking about some things, and I saw the icon in the background in your morning briefings, and I was like, wow, this is like a sign from God. So there it is. I'm actually pretty close to you. I'm in New York. So I was thinking of going down there to get my beard shaped by you.
All right. Well, let's hook it up then. That'd be good.
All right, cool.
Jen, put on your bra. Yeah. Jen says I have to put a bra on, and it's Sunday. You didn't know that? Jen, you didn't know this is Braless Sunday? Come on. Ian, how are you? What'd you do today?
I looked at a YouTube video on how to recaulk a bathroom, and I recaulked my bathroom. That's the highlight of my day.
Nice. What's the key to caulking a bathroom properly? Would you caulk the tub?
Yeah, the tub. Well, I tried it last time, and the last time I didn't put a drop cloth in the tub, and everything ended up going down. So that's the key, is to not make a huge mess.
Did you have to like take a knife and remove, like peel off the existing caulking?
Yeah, I had to do that. I had to wipe it down with alcohol. So, but yeah, it's pretty easy.
Excellent. That's cool. I just caulked my shower yesterday, believe it or not. I had a leak in the foyer of the house, and right above the entryway is the shower on the second floor, and that was leaking. So, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. William, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, George. How about you?
Good, man. Good. Tell me about your day today.
Well, I started off with the mountain bike ride with friends. Did
Nice.
about 4 miles. I was more tired than I wanted to admit. And then I went back to my deck that you can maybe see in the background here.
Yeah.
And I started a book called I Don't Know What I Want, but I Know It's Not This, about changing careers. I quit my job 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel great. I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I'm so happy.
Oh, that's great. That is great. Cool. Hey, let me ask you this. Does your mountain bike have shocks on it? Or your seat post?
Full suspension mountain bike, dropper post. It costs about $5,500 new, and it's the first new mountain bike I ever bought.
Isn't it amazing when you go to full suspension? It's a different ride. It's night and day, isn't it?
Oh, it's amazing. The technology that goes into these bikes is incredible.
I know it.
That's why we're paying $6,000.
It's not your grandpa's bike, right?
No, absolutely not. And when things break, they're expensive.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, let's see who else we have here. We have Lindy Sellers. We have Tanisha. Let's see. All right, let's see. Okay, we have there's Tanisha. How are you, dear?
I'm doing much better, thank you. Doing great.
How's the weather in Chicago?
It was in the 60s today. It was beautiful, beautiful. I did.
Wow.
I got out today. I had to go see my dentist, so I got out and did that today, and did some grocery shopping. And I did online church this morning, and did a Zoom with my pastor and the leadership team in the afternoons. I've had a busy day. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, welcome to the stream. Definitely.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
How's it
Hi,
going?
Tanisha. You're looking good.
Good. Thank you. Yes, good to see you, Lindy. Hey.
Hey, Tanisha.
Hey there.
Lindy Sellers, how are you? What'd you do
Hey,
today?
George. Oh, my goodness. I did all kinds of things. But first of all, let me say what fun this is. I'm so glad that you created this. I took a walk this morning. I took a walk this morning and listened to you and I'm not going to say her name right.
Agnieszka.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I love her. But that was so fun listening to y'all and hearing your musical taste. I kept yelling out the Billy Idol, Depeche Mode. I loved hearing all of that. And so I'm in the process of moving blocks from the top of a hill down to our garden spot because my hands are itching to get in that dirt and start planting a garden soon. So
I hear you. I have the same thing. It's like I'm just dying. You know, it's interesting. This is the time of year when I usually jump the gun and plant the garden, and then there's always one last frost that ruins everything. They say in my region, they say, don't plant anything till Mother's Day. That's just,
wow.
You know.
And down here, it's don't plant Easter.
Oh, wow. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, because we always get a frost. Right.
I'm here.
That's wild. Well, it's Jennifer Malewski.
Jennifer?
Yeah, there's a little bit of it's a little weird because I can hear you speak and then like 3 seconds later you're speaking. Yeah.
That's a special skill of mine.
Jennifer, I had to close out the YouTube
my
and then come on to this. That's how I got rid of those double sounds. Are you opened up on 2 different tabs?
Yes. Maybe.
Okay.
All right, so I guess, Jen, you found your bra. That's good.
No, it was I only had time for lipstick or a bra. I did lipstick, so I'll just show my face.
Okay.
I found my lipstick at the last. I just put lipstick on too, Jen.
Girls are so dumb.
Well, that's pretty wild. Well, I just learned how to do this. I never
to put lipstick on?
I've never brought on multiple
What color do you
people
have on? It's very neutral.
What's that?
You said you just learned how to do this. I said, what color do you have on? It's very neutral.
It's black.
Your lipstick.
What color lipstick do I have on?
Yeah. George, this is why I don't do lives impromptu. I'm too crazy.
I have butter pecan on my lips right now, so that's what's going on here.
It looks good.
If you come through, you'll be on here. You can come on.
So what's the topic tonight?
It's an open forum, and I just thought that I would just open it up, and I really don't know. I don't have anything to talk about except no agenda, which is rare for me, but I want to talk about whatever anyone else wants to talk about.
No, everyone's quiet.
All of a sudden, everybody got quiet.
Okay, I have something. Okay, I'm glad that Ian's not in. So I've been having discussions with friends about cancel culture, and you know, I have been canceled by certain people who I thought were friends of mine, and because I do things like read, you know. Really controversial things like read, and I do some things like, you know, critical thinking, asking questions, and questioning the dominant narrative. And it seems like anytime you question anything now, you're automatically a right-winger or a Trump supporter or a conspiracy theorist or an anti-vaxxer. Like, what is this with now? They want to just shut everyone down with a label. I don't know. Has anyone else been going through this with friends and family? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm off of Facebook and Instagram for that very reason. You can't say anything. It's unbelievable. I personally will not take this vaccine. Not because I don't trust vaccines. This has not been tested at any length that's prudent to me. My mom passed away about 3 months ago, but we were talking about it, and I was not going to let her take that vaccine, especially given all her conditions. She had COPD. She had a plethora of conditions that I don't think would have been, I wouldn't think it wouldn't have been prudent to give her the vaccine. And now they have this RNA vaccine, which for forever they've been telling us that it's not good for human consumption, and all of a sudden it is. You know? So either it's terrible for us or it's been a miracle that they've been suppressing. So you question both sides. And then nobody wanted to take the vaccine because Trump's administration did it. And now all of a sudden everybody has to take this vaccine. So I question everything. You know, and if you do that, then all of a sudden you're a pariah and you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. And I just got tired of it.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that you say that, Gabriel, because my daughter, who is now 25, when she was little, she would say, why? She had this thirst for knowledge. She would say, why is it like that? And I'd tell her. And then it was almost like the who, what, where, when, and why kind of thing. She, like, if I showed her that I was doing something, why are you doing it like that? Just like always curious. She would, if she saw something, she would say to me, what is that made of? I mean, it didn't matter what it was. Like if I had a hammer in my hand, she'd say, what is that made of? And so I taught my kids to question everything. As I question everything, I question every side. It doesn't matter. I know I have that thirst. I am so not interested in submitting to the first answer that rolls off the press. I'm not interested in that. And, you know, that's how you become a radical in 2021 is to question everything. You know that.
Well, you know, as a thinker, it's dangerous.
What's that?
Yeah.
I said,
a thinker is dangerous. Yeah.
So are artists, because we everybody.
Well, I had posted something on Gab, and I go, what kind of government gets off on dividing its people? You think if we're like one nation under God, or like whatever you want to call it, you think the government would be like happy with like uniting people, but it's almost like the government gets off on dividing people. You know?
Well, it's easier to
weird.
conquer, divide it.
Yeah.
Boy,
harmony is not profitable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to think about like in prisons. Okay, you have the ethnic gangs, you have the racial gangs, and this is good for the guards because it keeps everybody at war with each other. And I think it's the same principle with government. You keep people divided along any lines that you can, and race is an easier one because it's visible.
Yeah, and so apparently, at least Tim Pool said this, and I think I've heard this before. When there was the Occupy Wall Street in around 2008, everyone was up in arms because they were getting a whiff of the real enemy, which was Wall Street and the Federal Reserve. The word racism shot up 300% in mainstream media. So it was like, oh shit, you guys are catching on. Excuse me, George. You guys are catching on to the problem. So let's put this thing here.
Yep.
And everyone, because we're just a bunch of dummies, we're like, oh, that's what we're supposed to be mad about, and then we get mad about that, and it's silly. You know, my husband and I talk a lot about intelligence, and we kind of get into it because he's right behind you. You can't see him, but he talks a lot about how people are.
Hey, George.
He says a lot about how people are stupid, and I don't think that that's true. I think we're all pretty much within probably 10 points of an IQ, but it's what have we been sold, and what are, you know, one of my sayings is, be careful what you sell yourself because you'll buy anything. It's not because you're dumb, it's because we have a malleable mind.
I like that.
And I think that the malleable mind of all of us has listened to a few years, and then we think everyone else is the ding dong who doesn't believe like us. And I don't care if anyone thinks differently, but I love to be able to speak it loud without, like you said, Tanisha, to be canceled for it.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. You know, it's funny. Somebody made a comment about the 21 convention. They said, "Oh, it's the white supremacist convention or something," like, because that was a big buzzword in 2020. And they said, So how diverse are you? And I had to like scratch my head, and I'm like, I had to pull up a picture of all the speakers and the attendees, and I thought to myself, oh, okay. And like, I had to think like at another level to identify my Black friends, because I don't look at the 21 convention as, okay, we have 18 white guys and 6 Black guys, 2 Asian guys. Like I do live streams with Steve Williams down in Texas. I like Steve Williams. And the reality is, somebody who was truly a racist made some kind of comment, and it struck, and I'm thinking, like, who are they talking about? And then literally just like a couple seconds went by, and I'm like, oh, he's talking about Steve. Because I don't divide my friends into, like, I have these Black friends, I have these white friends, I have these Asian friends, I have these female friends, I have disabled friends. I don't like dividing people up. I just say I have friends, period.
You know, I was like that, I think my whole life. But I remember when Portland came on fire and race relations, what, about a year ago? It was around the same time that Corona started. I remember I went somewhere with my husband, and I said, I see color more now than I ever did before, but not because I want to. It's like they're putting it in my face, like I'm supposed to see the differentiation between it. And I didn't like it because I don't want to see like that, but it's as if they wanted me to do it, and I was falling for it, and I don't want to, it's silly.
No, it's not actually. It's a box that they've put us all in, where if you say you don't see color and you genuinely don't see color, that somehow makes you a racist anyway. So you can't win either way, So you're absolutely right. It's not silly to think what you're thinking, because it's true. They're trying to make you see color, where it's irrelevant in almost all phases of life.
And again, back to Jen's point, they are, the more division, the more little teeny tiny groups they can keep creating, whether it be Black, white, Latinx, LGBTQ, or transgender, or like, the more the groups they can tease out and separate, the more they can distract from the real enemy, of the people. And I feel like that's what really is going on, but it's so hard for people to see, because there's like this, it's like they're under a hypnosis by these talking heads in the mainstream media. So, yeah.
Hey, we got a new person on the panel. Gareth, how are you, sir?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Where are you from?
England.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it must be, what, 11 o'clock for you?
Yeah, 10 to 11.
Wow. Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. What did you do today?
Got up, went to church, went for a walk, came back, and then just sat around doing nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at a lot of like stock market. Sorry, what was that?
Mm-hmm. I'm happy to have you here. This is awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is pretty cool technology, actually. Never experienced something like this before.
It's my first time doing it too, and I can't believe I actually pulled it off.
It's gone fine.
Gareth, do you follow crypto?
So I bought into it in 2018.
Yeah.
And then I just left it for a while. And I bought an altcoin called Sia, and it just hasn't gone anywhere. So I missed out on all of like the massive gains that everyone else got hold of.
Yeah.
And then actually, I don't even like crypto at all. I really don't like it.
You haven't made any money off of it.
No, it's not actually that. I mean, I wouldn't have any issue probably making money from it even now, but I just don't really see the use for it. In all honesty, I don't see the use for it. You know, it's too early. I mean, maybe there will be things in the future, but at the moment, it's just pure crazy speculation. And I'm staying well away from it.
Yeah. All right, Gareth, you're in England. Terry, you're in Texas. Am I right?
No, I'm in Alabama.
Alabama. Okay. Gabriel, where are you?
New York.
New York. You told me that. Ian, where are you at? Unmute yourself.
All right. Yeah. Sorry. Boston.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, we have John from Boston, who is also in the audience as well. Tanisha, you're from Chicago. Lindy Sellers, tell everybody where you're from.
North Carolina.
Okay. Excellent. And Jen, are you still in Colorado?
Yeah, we just sold one of our houses and we're looking for our homestead property. So, but we're in Colorado. Yes.
Colorado.
I don't know.
Where are you going to go?
I don't know. We're looking Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina. Am I missing one?
West Virginia.
West Virginia, Virginia.
Okay.
Anywhere where the soil smells good, you know?
Yeah.
You know.
Excellent. Excellent. So you're going to do some homes. Do you watch homesteading channels on YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah. Anti-feminism and homesteading. That's what I watch.
Oh,
I'm not
funny.
very well-rounded.
Yeah, right. I don't know if homesteading and feminism go in the same sentence. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, they seem like something that I don't know. I kind of.
Feminists might be too good for laying chickens, Terry. No offense, but
No, that's okay. I used to be a feminist. I look at myself more as just a human person doing things to survive.
That sounds way more healthy.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, no, I'm basically homesteading here. So I've got the chickens. I've got goats that I get my milk from, that I create cheeses from. And then down the street, there's an organic dairy. Let's see, what else have I got? But basically the whole thing has been set up that I do mainly crops. And because I have a son that's in a wheelchair, I've created all my crops are all raised, or he can harvest them with his wheelchair. So
awesome.
We have it where I hooked up behind his wheelchair where he can actually till the ground, and then I come behind and I seed it. And then on other areas where it's raised, I have a whole raised organic medical garden. So I have marshmallow root and echinacea and all those kind of herbs and stuff. And then I sell them to herbalists.
Oh, cool. A little cottage industry going on there.
Yeah. Oh, and then I just started doing mushrooms last year. I have an old barn. So I've just started doing mushrooms now.
That's fantastic.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm pretty proud of what I created here. You know, it's only an acre and a half of land. It's an old 1940s house cottage. So it's a small building on a big piece of land. So, and I have 10 pecan trees. So I have my protein.
Oh my goodness.
So
where in Alabama are you, Terry?
I'm outside of Dothan. I'm in lower Alabama, the southeast side of Alabama. If you're looking at the map and you see Panama City, I'm just 60 miles north of Panama City Beach.
Nice.
And
okay.
I chose here because it's a sweet spot. I don't get the hurricanes because statistically, when a hurricane comes up, like when Hurricane Michael came through, by the time it got to me, it was just to a tropical depression it's a tropical storm at that point. So I wasn't having the impact of everything else. I'm far enough south and east that I'm not getting the tornadoes that are starting to hit further and further east because I'm far enough south. So I'm in a little sweet spot, if that makes sense. And that was real important to me when I was looking for a property because I wanted something that was going to be safe for my son for a longer time when I'm not here. So I set it up where it's all self-sufficient for him, that I can leave it to him and he'll be self-sufficient here.
That's fantastic. Smart thinking.
Thank you. Thank you. Like I'm looking at his next service dog, and I'm going to train his next service dog. I've trained his last 3, so this will be the next one. And
nice.
You know, I do things like that just to try to look at the future, look at the big picture, because I'm highly aware I'm not going to be on this planet forever. So what do I do to leave the legacy for him, where he's not a burden to his brothers and sisters?
Very smart. Very smart.
Thank you.
Cool. Hey, Jen, are you going to have crops or animals?
Both. We might do a little bit of wheat, but otherwise we'd like a half an acre garden, just something where I can enough to hold us over for the winter. And then I've been making cheese lately. So I was really excited to hear Terry say that she was making cheese. So maybe 2 cows, maybe some goats. I don't know. Chickens for sure.
Try goats first before you go to cows.
Why?
Goats are more self-sufficient. Cows have a lot more issues. So when you're milking cows, even though you're getting more milk, it's more output. So it actually costs you more to make cow cheese than it does to make goat cheese.
Okay.
And starting with the goats, they're smaller. So and if you get them where they're milking goats, they'll come and you'll be able to milk them easier. So then when you move on to the cow, I grew up in it. My dad was a milkman. So milking cows was one of those things that I knew how to do. But when I used to teach 4-H, we taught them on goats first, because when a goat kicks you, it's not as hard as when a cow kicks you.
Right.
That's a good reason too. Yeah.
If you want to go, like, let's say you want to go to dinner, you can go to dinner with goats. You can't with cows. You have to have somebody monitoring your cows when they're dairy cows.
Oh, really? What do you mean? You can't leave for hours, or what are you saying?
You can't leave cows. Like, if let's say you want to go for a day and do your shopping and do something, you have to make sure that there's somebody there with the cows, because they're going to need to be milked twice a day.
Oh.
Goats don't need to be milked twice a day, just once a day.
Okay. That's good to know. Thank you.
Plus,
you're welcome.
Goat yoga is easier than cow yoga.
Oh, Bruno, you're showing your new shade of lipstick. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, right. Lindy, you know a little something about goat yoga, right?
I do know. Unfortunately, I do know. Apparently, I watch more than anti-feminism and homesteading videos that I do know about goat yoga.
That's great.
Lindy, yeah. Do you have this book?
No.
Or
I have that one. That's a great book.
Excellent books. If you are, we call our property Sweet Harvest Homestead because we were faux homesteaders. We weren't real homesteaders. We just pretended like we were, and we had sheep, chickens, goats, and it was great fun. Two llamas, but just take it slow, like Terry said. Take it slow and get those smaller animals first, because the big ones are a lot of work and very expensive too. So just keep that. I don't want to discourage you at all. It's
no, I don't feel discouraged.
Okay,
good.
Hook up with your local 4-H, because what you can do is if you hook up with your local high school of the Future Farmers of America or your 4-H, you'll have kids that'll need a place to raise their cow. So the cow can be on your place. You could be getting the milk, and that's what you have. That's their payment for rent in exchange for they keep taking care of the cow and the whole entire works.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
That's what I do with the bees here. The bees are actually the kids' beekeeper club. And so they take care of in the whole works. And yet I have these bees that are fertile, that are pollinating everything. But I'm not of hooking up and doing all the smoking and stuff, because the kids are doing that.
Nice. Hey, we got Mr. Finn joining us from Brazil.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing tonight?
Mr. Finn's got some energy.
Yes.
Yeah, baby.
You don't sound Portuguese.
Hey.
I don't sound what?
You don't sound like you speak Portuguese. You sound American.
Meu amigo, eu falo... Não, eu sou americano, mas eu falo português bem fluente, cara.
Eu argentino, Brasil maior do mundo.
Oh, nice. I don't remember Spanish. I forgot everything when I came here and I learned Portuguese. So
Cool.
what's up, guys? Hey, thank you for having me, George. Good to be here. Hi, guys. How's it going?
Absolutely. That's Mr. Finn's channel is called English with Mr. Finn, Michael Finn, and we had a nice conversation at one time. He teaches people in Brazil how to speak proper English.
Cool.
Yeah. And I'm trying now to kind of go beyond that and even help natives to the English language just to be better communicators. You know, I find that language has become very watered down and people don't use the appropriate words, or they're unable to articulate themselves when they're, you know, given a message. So yeah, I mean, my goal is just to make better communicators.
That's great. That is great. What did you do today? I've been asking everybody what they did. What'd you do today, Michael?
Me? Well, I went to bed late because I was on your brother's stream last night, and then when I got up, you know, with the family, breakfast, things like that, and then after I got everybody squared away, I made a deal with my wife because Sunday, right? And I try to give her a time for herself. She likes to sing, so I told her that if she'd let me have the morning, I would give her the afternoon, because today's Sunday and I needed to record some raw footage, some raw video. Because I do post a tongue twister every Tuesday, and I record my videos in the middle of like the jungle. I take my equipment, I go into the jungle, and I record my stuff. So I took care of that this morning, and I came home, had lunch, and then gave her the rest of the afternoon. I stayed with my kids, played with the kids, did exercises with the kids, ran around with them. I got 2 little ones, and then that was about it. At the end of the afternoon, my wife and I and the whole family kind of sung together because my wife really likes to sing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that app, Mule, whatever it's called. It's like a singing app. Anyways.
Oh, yeah.
We sang together. Yeah, we sang together one song, and then I just got done helping her put the kids to sleep. And I went out right now to do some errands. I saw that he posted the link. I was like, man, I'm going to jump on George Bruno's panel and say hi to all you guys.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know how Tony does those 4-hour streams, man. 4 hours.
Last night was 4 hours, man. Yeah.
4 hours, my lord.
Well, you know what's funny? They get pretty intense, and the Saturday night ones, right? I'm sure you're aware of it. They're open too, so people come on in and get off their chest, and you know it's pretty good. Sometimes they're light, sometimes they're heavy, but they're always. Since I've watched and been on a few, they've been pretty interesting, you know.
Yeah. It's funny. I go to bed at 8 o'clock, and so I miss all the fun stuff. I usually catch everything the next day.
Yeah, I was trying to do that too, but ever since I joined FOE, if you guys aren't familiar, FOE is the Fraternity of Excellence. It kind of messed up my sleeping habits because I'm in Brazil, right? So the time difference, and then there's Zoom meetings at night, and to participate in the Zoom meetings, I was going to bed like midnight. So it kind of messed up my early mornings. So with the time change, now that you guys had daylight savings, because for me, the time doesn't change. I'm so close to the equator. It's 12 days sunlight, 12 days night, you know? So it helps me out. So now the Zooms they don't go so late. I mean, at least it doesn't feel like it. So I'm able to get back to kind of an early morning routine.
Yeah.
I miss it. I was a lot like you, George, you know, getting out early, walking around a lot, and doing push-ups and stuff in the morning. And when I don't do that for a while, I get like antsy, you know?
I hear you.
Anyways.
Hey, Lucas, click the link and come on. Lucas is one of my younger subscribers. I believe Lucas is in law school right now. Lucas, click the link.
Guys, here, George, I'm going to leave to give some room, okay?
If you have to go, it's all right.
No, I'm going to be watching, but No, well, and I love to be here, but I want to give some room to the new people. Okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
I'm watching, and I'll
I
talk
don't
to you
mind doing
soon.
that either.
Okay, that's cool. Thanks for popping on, Jen. Appreciate it. Let's
Lindy
see.
did the
Lucas is gonna join us. Lucas is also in Brazil. Let's see. As soon as he comes on.
Nice.
Have you guys got a lot of people waiting to join, or?
No. Nope.
Okay.
No, it's just
You
us.
said you have
Jen's here. She
25,
signaled
right?
that she's here. That's good. I'm trying to think who I know in Chicago. Tanisha, you're in Chicago. I know.
Your
I have a
son.
friend.
What about your long lost son? Well, he's not your biological son, but people keep saying that he is. Who is that?
Oh, Everett Overton, Coach EO.
Yes, Coach. Isn't he here?
I don't think he's with us tonight. No.
Okay.
But yeah, I have a good friend who's a top realtor in Chicago, Madeline Galdamez.
I have to look her. I'll look her up on LinkedIn.
She's on
George,
LinkedIn.
Go off because I gotta go feed the goats and the chickens.
All right, that's a good reason to go.
Okay,
thanks.
you. I'll see.
Appreciate it, Terry. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
All right, that's cool. We're waiting for Lucas to come on. Click the link, Lucas. Let's see. I can't believe I actually pulled this off. I just went on. It actually makes it easy for me because when you're on by yourself, there's this burden of performance where you just have to like fill all the empty space and always feel like you got to be saying something. And when you have a bunch of people on, it's a variety show. It's cool. I think I really like it.
I know what you mean. I started going live myself about 3 weeks ago. I think so, 4 weeks ago. I'm trying to do a weekly thing too. And it's been, I know what you mean. So trying to think of an interesting topic to keep it going, keep people engaged. It's a challenge.
Yeah, it is. It is. Definitely.
Have you guys ever been
Ian,
to the
how
UK?
long have you been a subscriber, Ian? How long?
I've probably been a subscriber for a couple of years.
Wow. Yeah. No kidding. So you've been around a long time. That's a long time.
Yep.
Very cool.
Saw you when you had the longer beard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that was, wow. 2017, 2018 when I had the really big beard. Yeah. Oh, that's a trip.
Yeah.
Wow. And Tanisha, how long have you been around?
It's been a while. I want to say definitely a couple of years. Because you know, it was a couple of years because I was pretty stuck in 2018, and you helped me to get unstuck going into 2019. There was one video you did, George, where you talked about some sort of technique that you had mastered in when it came to transitioning some of your clients who were into locks to transition them out and get all those demarcations and partitions out of their scalp. Yeah. And I shared that with several of my colleagues, and they couldn't believe that it was you with such expertise. But you know, that was how does he know that?
That's so funny.
Yes.
That is so funny. You know, I was working in Philadelphia at it was a barbershop kind of salon situation there. And I remember a gal came in, she wanted me to buzz her head down and shape her eyebrows.
What?
And with a razor, not plucking, not waxing, with a razor. And I thought, heck, I can do that. I shape beards all the time, and I did that, and I got the most massive following at that point. And it was just, it was like the accidental clientele,
we got Lucas in the house.
Lucas, hey Lucas.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, good.
Nice.
Lucas.
Hey, let me just ask first: is Mr. Finn streaming from the supermarket?
No, I'm at the pharmacy.
Oh, I see. Okay. See, that's a true.
Brazil's full of pharmacies. Well,
yeah, it is. In every corner. You see, I know he's American, but that right there is a true Brazilian spirit. To be crazy enough to be in a pharmacy and streaming live all over the world. That's nice. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, man. I'm not shy, man. I don't have no reason to be shy. Whatever.
You're right.
And because I'm an English teacher, I like to walk around speaking English because I can get people like new students or whatever, and I can promote my channel too.
Of course.
Can you guys in Brazil get over-the-counter antibiotics and stuff like that, or is that regulated like it is in the U.S.?
No, it's regulated too. In fact, when you get a prescription for it, you get like 2 prescription receipts, and the pharmacy has to they have to sign it and stamp it.
Okay, so it's like buying Benadryl here. You get to like leave 17 thumbprints, and because bad actors have used it for all their nefarious businesses. Yeah, so you can't even.
It's so expensive out here, man.
Oh, that's expensive here too. The problem is, it's a lot of people don't have insurance. So there are some like very, very, very cheap, like amoxicillin is cheap, so you don't need insurance. But God forbid you have a worse infection, you're looking at hundreds of dollars.
I hate wearing this thing, man.
I hate
something
those
really
masks,
interesting.
Mr. Fan. Oh.
I hate it. It's a stupid diaper on your face, and it serves no purpose except a psychological comfort.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Something really interesting about the NHS in the UK actually is that when you go for a prescription, every single prescription in the UK costs exactly the same price, regardless of what it is.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can get paracetamol off the shelf for like 30p, but if you get it prescribed by a doctor, it costs you like £9.45 or something. But every single prescription in the UK is around £9.
Wow.
That's
interesting.
Yeah, I gotta send a message really quick. If I sign off by accident, I'll come back in. Okay.
All right.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, it's good.
I know.
All right,
I know we don't have socialized medicine in the United States, and prescriptions are, if you had to pay cash for them, the reality is they could be hundreds of dollars every month, hundreds. So with insurance, you could bring it down from $2 to $20 depending on the script. But I know in other countries, it's much cheaper. Much cheaper.
Yeah, in England, it's quite interesting because obviously the way that it hopefully works is that you then subsidize someone's diabetes medication. And I mean, I don't know what the numbers are. We're probably in tons of debt still, but it's working, I guess. I mean, without looking at the numbers, right? I mean, it could be an absolute disaster, but so far, so good.
Yeah.
Well, I think the number one fear of a lot of people in this country who are opposed to that sort of administration of healthcare is everybody talks about the death panels, et cetera, where a panel of people decide whether you get treatment or not. Waiting lists, whereas here, if you have the money, you can just go and get a procedure done. So there's, that's the perception. I'm not saying that's reality. That's just a perception.
Yeah. The NHS waiting line, even before COVID, was insane. And it's been insane for decades. But But the good thing is that we have private healthcare, and I work for an American company, and they actually provide private healthcare for me if I choose to take it. And I have to pay out of my wages, but it's not a lot, and that helps me jump the queue if I need it. So the good thing about having private healthcare in a socialized medical, sort of way of doing things is the fact that you just have more choice, really. And if you look after yourself, hopefully you're not going to need a life-saving operation for at least a few decades. So,
right.
Yeah.
So that's actually the best of both worlds, but unfortunately they don't present it that way sometimes here. It's either or.
Yeah.
And it's very black and white, or in our case, very blue and red.
Yeah.
And so it's not really talk. There's no conversation. It's just people yelling at each other, much like everything else in this country.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. Agnieszka in Poland works for a company that's based in the UK, but she is under socialized medicine where she's at. She doesn't, I don't believe she utilizes the medical benefits from her company. Do you have a choice in the UK, Gareth?
He might have muted himself.
He might have muted himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you pretty much you can remove yourself from the NHS completely, if you choose to.
When you say, Gareth, when you say NHS, what does that stand for? Is that like National Health Service or something?
Yep. Bang on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can if you can afford private healthcare, you can just have it. And there's probably, American companies over here that provide private healthcare. We just don't really know about them because they're probably not hugely profitable for obvious reasons. But I mean, they probably exist. And the thing is there are a lot of people that they only sort of pay for private healthcare if they think they're going to need it. I look after myself pretty well, and I've never had to have an operation. So on that basis, the NHS is great when you don't need to use it, right?
Right.
But as I get older and hopefully earn more money, then I'd like to remove myself from the NHS to take the burden off of people that cannot afford, the potential position I'll be in. So that's probably why I'll go private.
Okay. Very interesting. Okay.
But yeah,
Lucas, are you still?
Sorry, continue.
Go ahead, Gareth. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, just some of the waiting lists are like 2 years for operations, if not longer.
Wow.
Oh my Lord.
And that's even if you have like a heart condition or a heart problem that needs to be operated on, sometimes it's still a 2-year waiting list. They just give you blood thinners and just hope you don't die.
Wow. Tanisha, I have a question for you. Now, Tanisha, you just had some major surgery. How fast was that from the time that it was diagnosed to the time of the surgery?
So I had the ultrasound that identified the problem in late December. I had a doctor's appointment where the doctor looked at the ultrasound and said, "Oh my goodness, you need to have this surgery now." That was in mid-January, and I was in the operating room in mid-February. So it just went, the problem was identified. I saw the doctor. She said, "You got to have it." A month later, it was getting done. And the whole surgery costs about $40,000. Yeah. Wow. And so if not for health insurance, that would have been a huge bill. My insurance got it down. I owe about $4,000 on the procedure. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's great. Yeah. That's not bad. $4,000 to save your life.
Yeah.
Small price to pay. Yeah.
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 And can you pay that off monthly? Are there like companies that split the payment down?
There's an online portal where I can pay as I go. And so if I want to pay $1 today and 50 cents tomorrow and just keep paying on it, they just let me do that. I guess at some point, if it goes too long over a certain balance, they might, say, well, we need a payment plan. But the way it is now, I just, pay as I go. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's not something that's talked about in the UK at all. People think that, if your credit card gets declined at the operating table, you're going to die. That's our perception over here, which is just not true, I guess.
No, by law, just so you know, Gareth, by law, if you have an emergency, just because you don't have insurance, they have to stabilize you here, no matter what. Yep. Then they have the right to take you to a public hospital. But if you happen to land, say, at Cornell here in New York, which is a big private hospital, they have to stabilize you. At least they have to save your life, and then they're free to transfer you to another hospital where they think you can afford it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's in the case of trauma and emergency. They don't necessarily have to do elective surgery or even an important surgery like tenacious. They're not necessarily obligated to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah, I sort of thought that was the case on the basis that there's not thousands of dead people piled up on the streets in the United States. We're not
that. No, there's just thousands of homeless people piled up on the streets in the United States.
Yeah.
Well, homelessness is a huge problem now. It's always been, but if you look at LA, and even before COVID, I remember Dr. Drew talking about typhoid in LA.
Yeah. I'm originally from LA.
Oh, yeah?
They always had it. My father comes from Hollywood, and I remember as a kid in the 80s going there and seeing them, So, every big city has homelessness, right?
Yeah.
When I went back in 2017, I took my wife and my son when I was 10 months. It was the first time my wife ever went there. And we went downtown. We went to go buy some gold wedding rings at the jewelry section. I forget what it's called, but like the wholesale price. I was shocked at how it just multiplied. And then I went back the following year in 2018 because I started the process of immigration because I've been planning to move back since 2018. And when I went back there, I had to go back downtown to do, get some legal documents. It like tripled in 1 year. I was shocked how bad it was. Just the smell of feces, urine, it's like crack, and it's just a mess everywhere.
Kind of like the New York City subway station. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so sad. And here the states are spending billions of dollars in foreign aid and stuff, and leaving our own cities to waste.
It's the same with England. We're giving so much foreign aid away, which, during normal times, fair enough. But during COVID, I don't think it slowed down at all. And And then we're obviously borrowing billions.
look at the two aid bills, the one in December and the one now. They're giving billions of dollars to Pakistan and all these countries for not even military aid. I think the one to Pakistan was to increase transgender education. I believe. I don't. I have to look at the bill, but yeah, we're sending so much money overseas, and it's not even going to the people. It never does go to the people that actually might even need it, does it? Remember back in the 80s, George, and anybody who's old enough, Ethiopia. Remember when they did the We Are the World and all that stuff?
Yeah, Michael Jackson.
Right, exactly. All that aid was stranded in the airport and taken basically by the people who had enough to sell off to other people, rather than giving it to the people who it was destined for. The same thing happened in Puerto Rico in the last hurricane. The mayor of San Juan just decided to keep all the stuff in warehouses rather than distribute. So it's money gone to waste. It's not even used.
Do they plan on earning interest on this or what? It's crazy, isn't it? Why would you just keep that money when your country's falling apart?
Oh well, you got to buy more weapons, and
I think they're planning on just bankrupting us, and making us just dependent.
And it's
say again. I'm sorry, I didn't.
I don't know. It's just like I get the feeling that their plan is just to bankrupt us, just to cause inflation to go out of proportion, and make fiat money worthless, and then I don't know, just start a whole new system, the great restart, right? Reset.
Well, hence the need for something like the blockchain, and which crypto is part of. But we're probably not that far away from UBI, the Universal Basic Income.
Furlough in England is UBI essentially. Like furlough in England is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's getting that way.
Jennifer says Agenda 2030.
That's the plan. I think that's the plan. But
see, I was a bit paranoid about the Great Reset, but then I look at the stock market and how many retail investors are actually involved in it. And I think in order for them to push the Great Reset to its completion, they're going to have to block the stock market somehow. And I can't see that happening. It's just it's crazy in there. You just got to look at the S&P 500. It's at its all-time high. And yeah, that comes from stimulus checks supposedly, but I think people are just realizing that, in order to beat inflation, you have to be in the market, or you have to invest in crypto, or do something other than accumulate dollars, or British pounds or whatever.
Yeah, Gareth, you make a good point. I don't think a lot of people realize that it is literally a waste of time to have your money sitting in a bank now, especially if you want to retire in a timely manner. So I have been keeping my money in the stock market and in Bitcoin as an alternative to a bank account, because it just doesn't make, there's no way I would be able to retire. So I don't know how you're set up, George. I had to set up a self-employed pension in addition to a Roth IRA. So I got both going so that I can make enough allocations. Again, if I didn't do that, I might not have enough to retire. So yeah, the returns and the banks are terrible. And that relief bill was a joke. Very little money went directly to the people. I mean, that money for Cobra basically was a buyout. So it was a parachute, golden parachute for the health insurance company executives. Not many people are going to benefit from that. So.
Right. That's right. Hey, Lucas. Lucas, tell me about your college situation. I know we started a conversation about that last year. Tell me about where you're at with education right now.
Yeah, well, that's complicated. So I started law school in 2019, but basically it was my parents' dream to have a son that was a lawyer, or a judge or whatever. And it's never really something I thought about. I never saw myself doing that. But I've always enjoyed reading and writing, and studying that. You have to enjoy these things. So I just said, you know what, I might as well just do it and make my parents happy at once, and then maybe one day I'll just study something else. But then I studied law for 2 years, and then COVID came and all classes were shut down, and that of course gave me time to reconsider some things. And it turns out I wasn't happy at all. And I had to have this very sincere conversation with my parents. Of course, it was not easy at all, telling them that all those 2 years that I studied law were actually a waste of time. But more than that, I also felt that Brazil, as much as I love my country, it's not really the place for me. I don't know if you guys internationally can see our situation down here, but for the past 20 years, it's just been a show of corruption, and just, the people in charge down here, they're not at all willing to look after the people. All they care about is themselves. Mr. Finn knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's all about the money.
Yep.
And I started feeling it's not only politics, it's everything. Down here in Brazil, things are wrong from the base and up. And so I started reconsidering my situation, and I realized I don't really want to stay here long. And so studying law would basically make me a specialist in Brazilian law, which would stop me from acting in this area in another country. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to change my area of study. It's something that I've always wanted to go for, which is agronomy. It's my family's field. My grandpa has worked in the field for his entire life, and it's something I can do wherever I go. So that's what I'm going for right now. I've been studying for my exams. We have kind of an SAT down here as well, which allows us to go to the university. So I'm studying again. I left high school 4 years ago, and so I'm back to this routine of studying everything again. And hopefully by July this year, I'll be in an agriculture school. Hopefully.
Nice.
Yeah, I wanna chime in what Lucas said here, and I feel for him because I have had so many students come in, through my classrooms that were studying something that they didn't want, but their parents pushed on them. There's so much pressure on the youth here to live the lives that their parents want them to live, and it really breaks my heart. And the SAT that Lucas talked about too is a big deal out here. So many of my kids just stress out. They don't eat well. They don't sleep well. And all they think about is this test. And I've had to encourage my kids and coach them and tell them, look, it's just a test. I know your educational career future depends a lot on that test, but seriously, do your best. Study, do your best. But they put so much pressure on them. There's so much pressure from family. There's so much pressure from the culture. It breaks my heart. That's one of the reasons why when I left my ex-wife, I ended up staying out here in Brazil, because I saw the impact I had on these kids and stuff, just because it's like no one's on their side. And what Lucas is studying, right? Law, medicine, and engineering are the three areas that are pushed. Like, parents are like, you're going to study this. And
and he's gone.
He'll be back.
Yeah. But I can add to what he was saying. It's exactly that way, because my parents aren't exactly the most successful people in the world, though we have a comfortable life. It's not really, it's not what they wanted. And so they saw in me an opportunity to have their dreams fulfilled. And I just said, hey, folks, I'm sorry. I love you and all, but I just can't live your dream. I have to live mine. It's my life. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they live vicariously through their kids. And another thing, too, about this corruption thing, it's so funny. It's so common here. Everybody accepts it. They say, oh, it's the Brazilian way. Oh, it's our way. And it's like, you guys complain so much, you want to go protest so much, but really for Brazilians, in all due respect, for them, a protest is just one big party. Let's go drink, let's go take selfies, power to the people. And it's like, come on, guys. The Brazilians are really, really smart people. But this thing about corruption is in the core of the culture. You got some of the smartest criminals out here. It's incredible. Like, if they had a minute moral compass, the things that they could accomplish, but they're very egocentrical. It's all about me. And I don't know how many times I get in these talks with people. Everyone's down to fight for their rights, but no one thinks about your duty, like what you have to do to earn those rights. And I get in these arguments, these discussions with people all the time. Yeah, you have the right to do it, but what's your duty? Just because you have the right doesn't make it right. So it's funny. I've been out here for 12 years, and I still clash with the culture, because it's just like I want to wake them up. Like, come on, guys, you have such potential.
It's funny that you say that, because my parents came to this country from Argentina, and it's the same. All the stuff you and Lucas are saying, it's the same in Argentina.
Latin America.
It's just all over Latin America, and as my dad passed away a couple of years ago, but he's starting to see a lot of stuff in this country that he no longer liked. And he said, this is what I left.
Yep.
This is what we left Argentina for, and I'm seeing it seep into this country.
Yep.
You know, and yeah, we have corruption, and we've always had corruption, but just nobody talked about it, and it didn't seem, because there were institutions and people that wanted to do the right thing. I'm not really seeing that anymore here as well.
A big thing too in America, unfortunately, with this coming generation, a lot of the people have become or are becoming desensitized, and everyone's just plugged in, and it's like what's happening now reminds me a lot of Rome, where we have cheap food, we have bread and circus, you know, we have cheap food and we have free entertainment in abundance, and anything that interrupts that's when we get upset. And nobody questions authority anymore. No one questions the narrative anymore. Everyone just accepts it. And we could see that clearly in this last year. How many people have been pressured? Like, you go to the store without a mask, and it's not even the people at the store that pressure you. It's other consumers.
Other customers. Yeah.
It's shaming. They're shaming you. And it's like, come on, people, wake up.
Mr. Finn, I went to the grocery store the other day, and I walked in, my mask I had pulled it down, and I didn't pull it up before I stepped in the door. And I heard a gasp amongst the crowd. And I was like, oh, and I pulled my mask up, and I felt so bad. It was like they were afraid, and they were just freaked out by it. It was creepy. But
I usually walk in with it in my hand, and if they say something, I was like, "Yeah, I got it." But I kind of want to be approached in a way, like, come and tell me to put it on, because I hate it.
No, George, should I pop off? Is there somebody else who wants to come in? Because
no. It's all right. You stay.
Okay. You know what's funny? When people get in your face about the mask, they get so close, and you don't have the mask. I'm like, are you an idiot or something? If you're so afraid, what are you doing so close to me?
Eu acho que não é assim. É dois porque... Tá certo, sem pressa. Sorry, I forgot to mute my mic.
Hey,
we have an exemption.
Enoch from Ethiopia, click the link and join us.
We have an exception in the UK, so if you have an underlying health condition, you don't have to wear a mask in a shop. But you never have to disclose what the underlying health condition is. By law, you don't have to disclose it. So, yeah, you can get away scot-free with never wearing one. There's nothing anyone can do about it.
Yeah, people are just being shamed nowadays. I got into a discussion with some SJW here. I was in line to get some eggs, right? And we were outside. So there's a little line to get eggs. I had my son with me. And everyone's wearing a mask except for myself and one other guy. And this skinny, like, SJW, out of nowhere, in the back of the line is like, you and the other guy aren't respecting anybody. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You don't have your mask on. I was like, why do I need a mask? We're outside. It's ventilated. There's plenty of space between everybody. And, but the COVID, this and that. I said, listen, I could see your nostrils, so your mask isn't doing what it's supposed to do. I've already seen you touch your mask 3 times. So by scientifically speaking, you've already contaminated your mask. So please don't get into this mask debate with me. And if you want to talk about respect my wish of not wearing it, because I'm very uncomfortable wearing a mask. Thank you. And then so she started just talking around the people around her just to kind of feel justified. Like, I stood up and I'm like, whatever. I bought my eggs and I left. I just turned around and said, okay, I hope you have a good day and good luck with your mask. I hate it.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad with the whole vaccination thing now too. Now people don't greet you and say, hi, how are you? They greet you with, have you gotten your shot? Would you like to get a shot? Do you need the link? Did you to sign up to get the shot? And I'm just like, it's almost like, someone asking you, well, did you see your gynecologist? What do you think about, so it's just, it's the culture has shifted in a way that so there was, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the KGB agent, Yuri Bezmenov.
Yes.
Yes. And how he talked about the demoralization of our culture. And as our culture has become demoralized, now it's okay for people to shame you about your personal healthcare decisions. And it's okay for people, like you said, people want to party. They don't want to protest. They want to hang out. They want to drink and smoke. So, yeah.
Yep.
Florida is just...
Go ahead.
Florida is just, defying logic, isn't it, really? Well, it's not defying logic because the restrictions don't really do much, but it proves that the restrictions don't do much at all. And same with Texas, I believe. I think Texas is doing just fine and everything's open.
South Dakota
no
as
one
well.
Seems to be... sorry?
South Dakota as well.
Okay.
Yeah, their governor is very anti-mask, anti everything that, anything tyrannical. But this is a worldwide infection, and I'm not talking about COVID-19. This is seeped into every place. Yeah, it's everywhere. It's everywhere, and I'm surprised. Well, maybe I shouldn't be, but how fast everybody complied and how fast they used this fear to basically squash us, or try to squash us anyway.
Yeah, I've always said that if the world was analyzed by a therapist as a singular person, like looking into someone's mind, they would be locked away forever because they would just be the craziest person on the planet. And no one seems to, everyone thinks, oh, I'm an individual, I'm, just chugging along. And it's like, no. We're all, I guess, like, we're not all part of the problem, but if you look at the world at large, it's just gone absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's like the powers that be are cultivating a hive mind in a way, and I believe it stems from media, music, and movies and stuff. How many people, and I know George talks about this, right? He goes on his early morning walks and he sees all these TVs on at night. Like, people can't live without a screen on. And I mean, we're all guilty. We're all using screens right now, and I'm trying to make a living, right? Being on screen myself. But the technology in itself is not bad. It's neutral, but it's how it's being used and how it's brainwashing. Marty's here. Hey, Marty.
What's up, Mr. Finn? I was going to have a giant paella atop Ian, but holy crap.
But anyway, so that's what's happening now. And you think about it, one of the strategies, I think it's always been effective, and I could see it being played out. It's this divide and conquer. They're dividing us by race, by values, by fear, and like, for example, I'm out here, I'm the only one not wearing a mask and everyone's just staring at me, but it's because I'm speaking English too. So there's two reasons.
Mr. Finn has got some excitement. Where was this last night?
Well,
last night I don't know. I didn't want to dominate. I still don't.
As if you could if I'm on the stream. Hey, what's up, Mr. Bruno? I was with your brother yesterday.
How's it going, Marty?
First time I
Good
meet
to see you, man.
Cheers,
man.
Yeah,
what'd you do today, Marty? What'd you do today?
I can't answer that because I think I committed a few crimes against society. But I agree with you. This,
he went out twice
right
for
now
exercise.
This is what I call masturbating, because there's no other function but to pleasure yourself putting this on. So this is masturbating.
Masturbating.
Yes. So, but it's cool, man. I can't believe. Was Jennifer on the panel? I'm a big fan of her. I'm like, am I being a fanboy beta right now by gushing about her?
Possibly.
But damn, Ian, what are you eating for so long? What do you got? Like the longest spaghetti string?
It's dinner time. Leave me alone.
Oh my god! But I'm pumped, man. I just.
Deixa eu ver se tem moedinha, porque eu paguei com cartão.
What are you speaking?
This is another thing too. People always approach out here for money. Always.
No, I'm not going to storm the Capitol, man, because the first, like I always say, the first one through the door is the one that gets shot. Yeah. I'm pushing Mr. Finnan first. I'm reading the comments.
All right. All right.
Man. Am I too excited for you guys? Should I calm it down and let you guys go at it?
No. We started out talking about cows, chickens, and goats, and Terry, who was on,
like relationships,
was giving advice.
No, man.
No, actually, we started out. Yeah, we were talking about homesteading, and Jennifer Molesky is going to be homesteading, and I asked her if she's going to have crops or animals, and they're going to have both. And then Terry was telling her, what kind of animals to get, like get goats before you get the cows, that kind of thing. And then we had Lindy Sellers on here as well. That was a treat. And she's got a lot of property up there. So this conversation has gone all kinds of places already.
I live in a Russian neighborhood in Queens, New York, so I see all that stuff on the street. It's like
I'm in Queens too. Whereabouts?
What happened?
I'm in Queens too.
What part of Queens you from, Gabe?
Flushing.
I'm Forest Hills. I'm where it's with the crazy Russians that
like around
sacrificing cows in the middle of the street.
63rd Drive around there, or Queens Boulevard.
I'm on 67th, so yeah.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna run into you a few times, right?
Well, I mean, you might at night. Like when I walk.
At night? What are you patrolling?
No.
You got a big big white Astra van. It's called "Get in the Van, Kid."
Yeah, well, I have a poem. Roses are red, violets are blue. I have a gun. Get in the van.
Wow, that's a new dating line. I'm stealing that. Next time I go to the Five Borough Cafe, I'm trying that on women. I'm gonna use that exact line. That's gonna be my new cold approach. I'm gonna do a video on that.
It works, man. It works, but make sure you have the gun.
So George, my baby brother Javen, he's watching. He has two girls. He's a very proud father, and he and I have been collaborating in making sure that his girls get exposed to femininity and feminine things early. And nice. He's kind of, I'm not sure if he's like a loyal fan of the show. I know he does watch you, but he is he's kind of he's not in the hive mind. I'll just say that. So he just told me he can see me. So that's all. Hi, Javen.
I like the idea of parents exposing their children, like the boys, to, like, if I'm working on my car, I would just take my sons out and say, hey, we're going to change the oil. We're going to do the brakes today. If something wasn't working in the house and I had to do some diagnostic work, anywhere in the house, I would take the boys with me. Whenever I was cooking, I'd grab my daughter, and I would put her, she'd be stirring something in a bowl, and my one son would be rolling something with a rolling pin, and then the other son would be, preparing something else. But I tried to expose the kids to everything, every instrument, every type of work. I mean, I had keyboards in the house, a violin, a trumpet, guitars. I just wanted to expose the kids to everything, and then let them make their own choices so they can make informed choices. But I always did, I never wanted my daughter to become like a construction worker. I mean, I just, and she's a feminine girl. She's 25 years old. She's feminine. My sons are masculine boys. They're muscular. They lift weights. They're involved in sports. But I don't remember forcing them into anything. I just exposed them to everything, and then kind of whatever they gravitated to. Yeah.
Absolutely. Great. Good teaching. Good teaching. Yes.
Yeah, like I said in my comments, I wouldn't say I expose my kids to everything. That'll get you demonetized and thrown off the channel.
Yeah, it'll get the neighbors calling the hotline.
Oh, look, I made Mr. Finn blush already. Yeah, you can make a tongue twister. The pretty pedo. The pretty pedo stepped in the meadow. That's Mr. Finn's new tongue twister. Right. The pretty pedo went to the meadow.
I'll work on that one in your honor, man. Yeah, but what George is talking about is great. That's what I'm trying to do as well. My kids are still really young, but I could already kind of see their personalities develop. You know, my son's 4, my daughter's 2, and they already got strong personalities. And I'm all about leading by example. Even as a teacher, I'm all about leading by example. I think there's 2 kinds of leaders. You can say bosses, ones that drive from the back, that bark and yell and snap the whip, you know, or there's the one that leads, that's in the front and leads by example and motivates and encourages those who are following him to emulate and copy and fall in line. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. And I purposefully am affectionate with their mother in front of them. I want my son to see how to treat his future wife when he grows up. I want my daughter to learn how to be treated. So lots of things I do purposely so they can see by example, because, you know, we can talk all we want, right? What is it? I heard before, words are just wind, but it's the actions that we take. It's things that we do is what carries heavier weight, you know? And I'm a person that does try to practice what he preaches. So
I agree, Mr. Finn. I like feminine women. I dealt with a very masculine woman, and I got this nipple hair stuck in my throat for like a week. It was terrible. Terrible.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, I hate that. Usually it's not from the nipple hair.
Ian, go ahead. What's up?
I don't see a hand raise option down here, so I figured I'd just physically raise my hand. I have 2
I'm glad you
questions.
did. Yeah, go ahead.
One
Raise
for
your
Mr.
fork.
Finn. Yeah, I'm all done. I'm all done. Mr. Finn,
Sorry,
do you,
I didn't hear that. What'd you say?
I have 2 unrelated questions. First one's for Mr. Finn. Do you have a lot of people, like, do you help out a lot of people with, because you say you like to help clients that already speak English to help them communicate better. Do you help with people that may be going on interviews?
Yes. I'm a private English teacher. So it depends on what my student needs. I've done all kinds of things. I've taught classes on how to give speeches. Most of my students are CEOs, directors, lawyers, surgeons. So I got to prepare many of them for conferences, congresses, give presentations. So yeah, I prepare people for all kinds of things, what their need is. Particularly, it's just like English classes, but every so often someone will come up and they'll need kind of a special, something special to get them prepared for. So yeah, I do.
Okay, all right. Because I've been going on a lot of interviews lately. So
yeah, in fact, I just recently, I think it was last month, an old student of mine, his daughter was going to be interviewed for a couple of universities, Stanford and some other ones. So he hired me to kind of prep her and coach her and get her ready. And she got into one of them. He sent me a text, so like thankful. Oh man, I can't thank you enough. Da, 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 da. I'm like, no, man, it's my pleasure. I'm glad. I mean, I would have felt really bad if I did all that work. He paid me money. He didn't get anything. It's like, great.
And my thank you, I appreciate that.
No problem.
My
If you have
second
any
question.
questions, if any of you guys have any questions, you could always reach me on Instagram. You know, send me a DM. I'm accessible. You know, and if you guys want to train your speaking, every Tuesday I post a tongue twister on my YouTube channel. They're fun. Some are easy, some are hard, some are crazy.
Hey, what's going on, Bruno?
Ian, what's your second question?
So my second question, I just wanted to piggyback off of the investing topic that you guys are talking about, like the Bitcoin and the stocks. I'm doing some research on a few companies. I don't know how well versed the people on the chat are in terms of stocks, but I'm going to be researching and actually want to invest my first invest in my first stock when I get my taxes back. Because I heard there was a couple of companies that you can invest $5 in different kinds of companies for free. And I heard there's like one specific company, Vanguard. No, I'm not trying to get any specific stock advice, but I don't know if anybody on the chat has any tips or tricks. Just let me know. Any good companies?
Vanguard is a friend of mine. The president of Vanguard is a friend of mine. He used to be a director in Vanguard, which is about Vanguard is about 10 miles from me. It's an incredible company. Vanguard is a long-term investment. You're not gonna put money in Vanguard and then just sit there and watch it like you watch Bitcoin, or like I watch Bitcoin, I should say. It's one of those things where you put your money in and you just let it sit. I don't think Vanguard is going anywhere. That's just my personal opinion. I don't have any insider information, but I like Vanguard. Yeah.
It basically Tanisha. Plenty of time.
Tanisha, do you want to introduce someone?
Yeah. And so everybody, this is my youngest brother, Javen Lee, on the call.
Hey,
David.
It's great to be here. I'm so glad you sent me the link.
Yes. So yes, we are kind of I don't know what's unique about us, Javen. I don't know. We're a little bit different.
Well, we've been trying to collaborate, disseminate the proper information to at least especially our immediate family and friends, and we're trying to fight against this. It's kind of like a diabolical scheme going on with all this, with the what you call it, womenism or whatever, and this with this mass thing and all this. I want to censor what I say, but I just think that if we can get the right information out to the right people that can act on it, and then when we bring up this next generation, maybe we can influence some change, some positive change. But things are kind of going off the rails right now, especially the last few years.
Yeah.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah.
What'd you do today, Javen? What'd you do?
Well, I just got back from vacation. I was in Florida, actually. You guys were talking it up a minute ago. And
you were on TV where they were throwing people the gas bombs and stuff. Was that you with the crowds?
No, I had just left the day before that happened. I had just left. I got back yesterday afternoon, and then I just kind of slept, and I'm recovering from, when I get on a plane, I usually sleep a half a day just to get back right.
How did you behave? Like, are we going to see a lot of little Javons in South Beach or something?
I wish, but I just got the 2 baby girls, and I don't know. I'm probably just gonna focus on them for the next 10 years or so. Maybe I'll start up again. We'll see.
That's great.
Oh my God, I could give you videos on why you should not have kids. That's like 17%, 8%, 8%. That's what you gotta look at it, man. I love kids,
it's rough right now. It's rough right now. Before when my first daughter was in utero, I actually sat down and prayed to God. I said, man, there's something that's off in the world right now. Should I even be having a kid? No. He gave me the go ahead to just do what I had to do. But I think, the number one problem in America right now is the nuclear family has been destroyed, and it's taking hits from all areas, the government, media, and if we could just find a way to repair the nuclear family, then we could start infecting some actual positive change. And it's just going to take a whole lot to do that.
Yeah, that's it, man. I'm the total polar opposite of Marty. I say have the kids, man. We need more good men having good kids, and that's how we're going to change things. I'm about making families great again.
Yeah, but you want a 70% chance that your kid will be part of the masses you're fighting against.
Yeah, guess what? You have the same chances when you're going to go out and meet someone. You might get a tranny. You don't know it. There's all these chances in life. Life's about taking chances, man.
Listen, sometimes you just got to close your eyes and take it like a champ. Take it like a champ, Mr. Finn.
Life's
just
about
blame it
taking
on the
chances,
alcohol.
you know? But when it comes to like kids and stuff, like I said, I'm about good men, good women getting together, having kids, and it's not easy. Of course, it's not easy, but
it's easy to have kids. It's
It's
easy to have kids. I don't know what the hell you're doing.
Okay. I didn't
Maybe
mean
you have no
having
sense of
kids. I'm talking
balance,
about
but it is easy
bringing
to have
them up.
kids.
I got an opinion,
bringing them up. You know,
I got an
rearing
opinion on
kids.
that too. You can have kids easy, but it's just, are you going to be able to actually raise your kids? And that's the question.
Listen,
and
my
odds are
daughter has
no.
purple hair now. She lives with her mom. She dyed her hair purple. She's like, "What do you think, Dad? What do you think, Dad?"
Well, right now, that's why I say the nuclear family is so damaged that there's probably an 80 or 90% chance that you're not going to be raising your kids. The majority of the time is going to be some sort of daycare or the school system, or, you know, they're going to be spending time with stepfathers or stepmothers, or, you know, so that's what I'm talking about as far as the damage to the nuclear family. Yes, the key to the future is through the children, and that's obvious. But if we can't create an environment to raise kids to be healthy and balanced, it's very
this is the discussion we had yesterday. It's not about training another generation. We actually need right now people to, I don't want to say storm the Capitol, but we need people to go be the first ones through the door. We need the people we need martyrs. We're going to need the people who are going to lead the way, are going to have to be the ones that take the shots, ruin their reputations, and let the people behind them come and fix it.
And Marty, I think those people exist, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're the silent majority. Like this, you know, this media has been hijacked by a certain that hive mind that we talked about. So we're not going to hear.
What is the silent majority? What state are you from? Because I'm from New York. I think 1 out of 2 girls in New York have nipple rings. Okay,
I'm from
1 out of 2
Illinois.
girls in New York have nipple rings.
No, she's talking. I think she's talking about people that are going to be actually having balanced minds and not brainwashed. They are the silent majority right now because of the media. It's disseminating so much negative information.
Because now, if you even watch Fox News, they're brainwashing our kids on how to behave. Okay,
yeah, but
there's no way you
we
can
have
turn
to
for acceptable
we have
behavior.
to turn it all off.
But if you look at things like this red pill, revolution.
Black pill.
In the beginning, it was basically a silent majority for a long time, until that information got disseminated enough where people, the lights start coming on with enough more people. Right now, it's still not major. It's still not, mass media level. It's still in an insipid stage, but it's a lot further than it would have came. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to publicly come out and say red pill things, 15, 20 years ago, you said that Pep would destroy you. So now you're less likely to get destroyed right away. As you disseminate that information more and those seeds get planted in enough minds, then the people can come out and speak against it directly.
But you're contradicted, because here's the solution. A man should never get married. And every religious guy thinks it's okay to be married, because marriage today is the government interference. It's not a spiritual thing anymore.
I agree with you 100%. Marriage has been corrupted. The institution of marriage has been corrupted by the government. That's
not corrupted. It's not corrupted. It's been financed. It's like the same way with alimony, the changes in law where now men can't write it off. And yes, in the end, women will get less because of this. But at the end of the day, the government will still get more in taxes. It's all about money. And we are so far gone. The days of a man waking up in the morning with his chopsticks and stirring coffee, those days are dying.
But Marty, you're looking at 2 people who happen to be so-called African American, who came from a home with 2 parents who were together for over 40 years, a marriage that was happy for the most part. There were ups and downs, there were good and bad times, but our parents stayed together and raised us together. And my father is still here. According to the statistics, he should be absent. But I believe in that, because we came from that. I believe we can replicate that. But I take on the responsibility that you're saying, that we're going to have to make some radical changes ourselves to really see.
But it is different. My father was married 45 years. He's a widow.
Yeah.
My mom passed.
Mhm.
And he's dating today. And he looks at me and he's like, I am never getting married. I've heard from all my friends, and he had a great marriage. My mom worshipped this man. And I grew up, I was married at 18 like a damn idiot. And I think Mr. Finn knows my story, and whoever's in the chat knows me. I was married to a religious woman. And I agreed. I'm not Catholic. I agreed to raise my kids through the church. Right? Guess what? 22 years later, I wake up one morning, I find evidence she's been banging her boss. You know, you just can't pick right sometimes. And that's how life is. And you know what? I don't regret having kids. But I do regret getting married.
Well,
I think the future for men is have your kids, and every time they're born, 8%. I'm going to fight 50. I have custody of one of my kids. I'm about to get 50-50 of my other.
What did you lose in that marriage?
What happened?
What did you lose in all that time?
I lost about $500,000 cash. I gave her everything to get away from her.
But did she raise the kids at home?
Well, I have my son.
But did she stay at home and raise the kids during that time?
No, she makes money. That's the problem. In New York City, you can't have one income. In New York City, you can't have one income. Gabriel, right?
Yeah, impossible. It's impossible if you're married for just one of you to work unless you make Mondo bucks.
I make
even 100, 200
and I
won't
was
get it.
struggling. And I can't make ends meet at 150 in New York City. A 3-bedroom apartment is $3,000.
Ain't no way.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this though?
Oh yeah. So growing.
Do you bear no responsibility for living there where your wife had to work? I would never let my wife have a career.
Well, that's a luxury, brother.
I married a luxury. You move where you want. Military. I was in the military when I married her. Okay, and I started to have a good career, and you know it did help the cash. But just because she works doesn't mean she should end up being a slut whore. You know, come on, bro.
You're saying a should. That's not a should. That's what will happen. You let your wife work for another man in those prime years, then she's not working for you. I was in the Army too, and I moved my family away from those expensive places. If you're the leader of your family, you lead away from New York. Don't blame New York. Don't blame the income. Don't blame the costs. Blame yourself for living there.
Well, the way society's going,
the fact that you got
there's going to be no
kids.
place in New York where a single income can support a family. Jared, that is
then leave New York.
That thinking is the same thinking about why marriage could still work. You
Then
got to
leave
start
New
looking at
York.
the future. You see, we're clinging on. You guys are clinging on to things, hoping to fix it that'll be fixable. I look at things differently. I look at it as get rid of it. Marriage, I know everyone loves to talk about it, but get rid of it. And yes, if you're going to have kids and you're going to be together with a woman, you're likely going to need two incomes. And you know what, Jared? Maybe you're the goddamn unicorn, but that's not how everyone else is going to be.
Yeah. So
Marty, I agree with you. But the way I see it, it's like a big circle. This is a big problem. And we're going to have the solution to the problem is going to be coming from multiple angles. What Jared is talking about is correct. But that has to be taught. That's a cultural thing that we were not taught. We were taught something totally different. Go work, bust your ass, get a good job, create a good environment for your kids, house, picket fence, and everything will be fine. American dream. It's impossible. You have to, there's so much more that goes into it. And that's what Jared's talking about. And that's actually true also. So I would teach I don't have daughters, but I had sons, I would teach him exactly what he just said. You have to create an environment where you are the leader and you're the sole, you are providing everything. And so you're deserving of that respect that's needed for a marriage to survive. Right now, feminism has taught these women, feminism is what it is. Feminism has taught women to work with every waking moment of their life to work, to not need a man. Okay. But then it's a lie.
Don't just blame women here. Men love that income from their wives working too, and they shouldn't.
No, you can't blame women.
I didn't blame women.
Lead when men fail to lead. Women are leading because of the absence, because men have allowed it. And not taking anything away from Jennifer in the group, because Jennifer's badass. But when men allowed this to happen, okay?
We did.
And you know what? And right now we broke it. It's like you fed the gremlin after midnight. You can't undo
now
it.
We got gremlins.
The gremlins are out. These little baby gremlins are out.
You got water on my water or whatever. Yeah, but I just think that I just think that if what you're talking about, Marty, is also true. These men are, like men in my age, we can't just go get married if we're not able to create that environment that Jared's talking about.
Let's cut you up. How old are you?
I'm 37. I've been married and divorced.
Yeah, I'm older than you a little bit.
But what I've seen is relevant though. See, men in their mid 30s, 40s. Yeah, we should probably hold off on getting married unless we can create that environment that Jared is talking about. It's impossible for it to work in this environment.
And the feminist hive mind, like Javen is saying, with me being single and independent and pushed to acquire all these multiple degrees and accomplishments and sit on all these boards, all of that requires a level of masculine energy such that if I have a man in my life who is allowing me to continue in that pattern, I lose respect for him. And unfortunately, I fell into that trap, Marty, when I was in my early 20s. The feminism demon, and I believe it's a spiritual thing. I believe feminism, it's an evil, demonic, it's a satanic spirit, this feminism demon. It got me. And it wasn't until I got back into my faith and reconnected with my roots. Mom was at home. She didn't have to work. Dad worked, okay? But it wasn't until I reconnected with my faith and my roots that I was able to break free of the feminism demon and get unstuck. How about George? I wasn't even able to really understand and really get the most of what he was teaching until I broke free of that feminism demon, so it's deep. It's a spiritual thing. And that whole demoralization of our culture, that demoralization has elevated feminism.
But it's not just feminism. It's
a bunch of different things.
Freaking men that I used to be.
Right, but that culture created these weak men. I'm telling you.
No,
it's all connected.
No. Because my father was a gentleman to my mother. He was the most loving guy. He wasn't grabbing her by the hair saying, "Hey, baby, go make me a sandwich." No, he was a loving man to my mom. And we thought if we treated women the same way our parents loved each other, that women would respect that. And something changed along the way.
Okay, but
I learned now that if I slap a woman in the ass, I'm more likely to get laid than if I tell her she looks cute today.
Right, and you're more likely to get me too a year later too.
No. You get me too is when you're being careless.
The cause of this is not weak men. The cause of this is not strong women.
Mm-hmm.
This country was founded on two things that inevitably lead to feminism, which is classic liberalism and capitalism. Those things necessarily lead to a individual sense of freedom, to an individual sense of I do what I want and I answer to no higher power. This is clear, especially from the American Protestantism. It is why women will not be controlled by their husbands, and husbands will not be controlled by any higher moral authority. We worship freedom in this country, so much so that feminism becomes inevitable.
But are we free? Are we free?
Oh,
no, of course we're slaves. We're slaves to our past. That's exactly the problem.
Are we free?
Well, you're always beholden to something or someone, whether you want to admit it or not.
When you serve God, you are a slave to nothing else. Tell me I'm wrong.
I think you're wrong.
You're right.
I can't tell you you're wrong. Yeah.
Serving God.
Religion holds people back. At times, religion holds people back at times.
He's not talking about religion. He said serving God.
Oh, I haven't served God in a long time.
I do not have to separate the two. Every meaningful teaching that I have read has come from the Catholic Church. I only need to know what the seven deadly sins are to guide my actions, and they have never steered me wrong. I'm more free than any man I know.
Let me, Marty, are you into MMA at all, or anything like that? Boss.
When I was younger, I was into.
No. There's a purpose to this. Boss Rutten. Boss Rutten is a Dutch guy. He lives in Beverly Hills. He is a really badass fighter, and he talked about his conversion to Catholicism and how he was drinking a lot, and he read are you going to be, you're a slave to this, you're a slave to that. And he goes, I ain't a slave to anything. And now I'm a slave in the best sense to God and Jesus. And it changes his life completely.
That works for people. And I'm not going to criticize. I believe there's also a psychological effect. I'm not going to comment. I don't want to offend anyone. I offended enough people with my drinking and ranting already. But I will say one thing. My kids went to church every Sunday and I took them. Even though I wasn't Catholic, I'm not even Christian. I sat at the pew, put my head down. I did everything but take bread. I did this religiously. I coached all the soccer teams. And when that whore ex of mine cheated on me, you know what? I actually found my new happiness in life. By not being religious, by not being chained down, by being a good person, by having good moral guidelines.
And what determines those morals? How do you know right from wrong?
I found my happiness. Moral guidelines. Moral
How are those moral guidelines determined?
Well, moral guidelines doesn't mean religion. Moral guidelines could just be a Zen. Just because I eat edibles and I meditate doesn't mean I have a religion. And that's what I do.
How do you
and you know what?
right
I found more
wrong?
success when I got rid of these boundaries, these shackles, and just started saying, F it. I don't know for sure who God is or his children or what's going on, but I do believe that if you're a good person and you're spiritual and you treat people with respect that you want, that's the kind of life that no man can judge me and turn me away at the end of the day. And that's how I feel. And you know what? That has unleashed me. Now I get to say whatever the hell is on my mind. Because I'm just being honest with myself, I sleep better at night. I have more friends than ever. I've helped more people than ever. I've raised more money for more noble causes than I ever did for that stupid church I worked for.
Cool story, bro.
That
Are porn
absolved my
addicts,
ex
are they
because she
moral?
said her sin away, whatever that crap is.
Are porn addicts moral?
Well, and do people have people with addictions? Are they immoral? Because you have an addiction to something, does that make you really immoral?
I already know the answer because lust is a sin.
No, you think you know the answer. You see, that's the problem. We all don't know.
It's a little bit more complicated than that.
No, it's not. You're overcomplicating it.
I love that you really believe how hard you believe, but I'm telling you, I part of being red pill and black pill is I keep an open mind, and I had a lot of thoughts of who's a bad guy and who's a good guy. When I first saw Anthony Dream Johnson, the guy from 21 Studios, before I was red pilled, and I saw like Jennifer and Coach Adams, and I saw Sandman. I was like, these people are just, they don't get it. I have a loving wife and blah 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 blah. And when I got blindsided, I was like, holy crap. I was wrong. What else have I been wrong about? So now I'm more flexible. And I found happiness that way. You know what? I'm unhappy that my daughter has purple hair right now. I can't control it. But you know what? I can have conversations with her. I can say, hey, don't hang out with those girls with the tongue rings and the nose rings. If you're about to go to the tattoo parlor, call me so I can beat the crap out of you and send you to China. I can have these conversations with my kid. This is stuff that I would have probably been submissive years ago. Jared, I give you a lot of credit. You truly believe in what you believe, and you're diehard. No one can convince you otherwise, and I respect that.
But were you submissive years ago?
But what happened? I can't hear.
Were you submissive years ago?
Oh hell yeah! I was. My ex-wife was ugly. I used to tell her how beautiful she was, and anything she needed. I was making dinner. I was doing this. Yeah.
So look, we don't have to blame. We don't have to blame religion. We don't have to blame anything else. You can admit your failures and say that you played more of a part in the failure of your marriage than the institution of marriage did.
I don't blame anyone for my failure.
You blame marriage.
I picked the wrong person. I stupidly believed, because she was super religious, going to church once a week and went to every little event, that I picked the right woman. And this is on me. And if I can go back in time, I would somehow find a way I can deposit my DNA back in her to have my kids and not marry her and ship her back to where she came from.
But one minute you say it's the institution of marriage.
Marriage is terrible.
Then you say it's you. Well, which is it? Is it marriage or is it you?
You are wrong.
In Marty's defense,
marriage to you is a religious, spiritual thing, but in reality, and I need people in the chat to back
and it
up.
should have stayed that.
If you're in
now,
the chat,
now it's a contract with the state.
The government has taken over marriage.
Yeah, it's a contract with the state. It should have been a spiritual, religious commitment thing, just like confessing your sins and becoming I'm a Christian. I was born and raised in the Christian church, and just like having a relationship with God and committing to serving God. That's what a marriage should have been, between a man and a woman, not a contract with the state where they can make all these laws to basically control the populace.
Marriage in the European sense, since Christianity became the norm in Europe, has not been a function of the state. It has been a function of the church, the organization, to make sure that a wife is good to her husband and that a husband is good to her wife. And if either of them fails, the church steps in to reconcile the situation. The only difference between that and America is that it's the government and not the church as an organization. This idea that it should be the church and not the government is a complete falsehood. It is all it's doing is asking a different organization to serve the exact same function.
Yeah, well, I didn't say it should be the church. I'm saying it should be between you and God.
But that's my point. Why would anyone officially get married? You know what? Quietly get, here's the problem. Let's say you do get married outside the government. The government is then going to say, you know what? You're married. You're married. We're going to, even though you didn't sign the contract, we're signing it for you. That's the problem.
And that's like moving the goalposts.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean we can't, you don't play at all.
But here's what, Jared, here's what you're not looking at. And here's what a lot of you guys are not looking at. And this is what Mr. Finn knows me and Anthony in the chat knows me. I help guys going through PTSD from divorce. Okay. What you guys are saying, this, at the end of the day, there are a lot of men hurting. There are a lot of suicide is up. Divorced men's suicide rates are up. Men are losing their children. The system has just worked against them. Restraining order. My ex got a restraining order, and it took me months to go see a judge. And when I finally go see a judge, the judge threw it out, and I could not get back those 6 months without.
Same thing happened to me. I didn't see my daughters for 3 months. My wife started an argument. I didn't. It was like 3 a.m, and I didn't fight with her or anything. She calls the police. They asked me to leave. Well, she just started breaking stuff in the house, and they asked me to leave. I said, "Yeah, all right, I'm gonna leave this time." I didn't see my daughters for 3 months. Because she did the same thing, went and got a restraining order, and it took months to get in front of the judge. When it happened, they threw it out, just like you said.
Just remember, religion is always changing because the people in power have the authority to change it. History is always controlled by the people in power. Christianity was 2,000, whatever. I don't, I can tell. Whatever Christianity was 2,000 years ago compared to what Christianity is today has changed because of what the kings and everyone has done. And what people have changed, everything's evolving. Even religion evolves. And right now, the people in power are soulless. Okay? They're soulless. And marriage is so watered down.
When did the powers that be that are constantly trying to consolidate power by any means necessary, when did they ever have a soul?
When they had a what? I'm sorry. Maybe I'm drinking too much.
When did they ever have a soul?
No, there have been great leaders who, in history, that really meant well. But what you guys saying? It's about perception. It's about perception. What we think is good. So you gotta remember, I'm the bad guy in someone's story, where I'm also the good guy in someone's story. You got to remember when you say it's someone's bad, leaders are bad. Right now, 1,000 feminists will argue to the death that Joe Biden's better than Donald Trump. And then 1,000 conservatives will argue to the death that Trump is better than Biden. It's about perception. What we think is good and bad is our perception. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys about religion and all this. There is no facts. It's our belief system. Maybe I'm drunk and ranting. I apologize, Mr. Bruno, for taking over your channel.
This is a classic. This is a classic debate. This is a classic debate in philosophy, and it's very simple. Mm-hmm. If you believe there is no God, then morality is subjective. It's all in your head. If you believe there is God, then morality is objective. There is a right and a wrong, And all it comes down to is understanding right from wrong. And how that happens is not easy. It's quite difficult, but it is done logically. And that happens through the Catholic Church. That happens through the Orthodox Church. That happens even through some Protestant churches, not all of them. And you can tell by how many fly the LGBT flags. So, you know, to throw out religion is bad, or
not bad,
or the entire thing. Christianity has evolved. Christianity has not. Christianity in the big term has, as the umbrella term, has only evolved because of the number of sects. Catholicism, Orthodox Church, they are very much like they used to be thousands of years ago, because the texts that they are founded on are thousands of years old. The teachings, the insights, they come with time and they come with great minds, so they necessarily get added and put into the canon. So the idea that the Orthodox Church is changing so much, it changes with the times, this is a falsehood.
But it does. Everything evolves. Everything. And if you say it doesn't, then you're not opening your eyes 100%. You're not.
That's not really an argument.
There are arguments in the Orthodox Church.
Hold on. Let Mr. Bruno speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
And with that, we've been on for 2 hours. I think Sunday nights at 6 o'clock would be a great time to meet back here. I will just make the show live and then invite on whoever wants to come on. This was fun. I had no idea. I've never done this before. I never just openly invited people on, and it was stimulating. It was fun. It was interesting. We had people pop in for a few minutes, people pop off for a few minutes. And I'm glad everyone's here. But I'm going to say goodnight because it's been a couple hours and I got to get up at 4 o'clock. And I love you guys. I want to see you back here next week at 6 o'clock. And you're important to me. And all of your voices are important. So
thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for the platform, everybody.
God bless.
Love your work.
Thank you, George.
Good night now.
Take care, guys. Good night.
Take care.
Good night.